A panel of stakeholders comprising senior advocates of Nigeria and activists have advised the incoming Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kekere-Ekun, to initiate reforms that would redeem and restore the glory of the nation's judiciary within the first 6 months after she assumes office. Speakers at this roundtable spoke in Abuja. Celestine Area reports.
Roundtable discussion are law professors, human rights activists, as well as leaders of some CSOs, where a 5-point agenda will be prepared to serve as a guide to the CJN. Executive Director of TAP Initiative for Citizens Development, Martin Obono, pointed out that the institutional credibility of the judicial branch in Nigeria has never been lower in public esteem.
By reinforcing merit-based selection and transparency, the judiciary can address past shortcomings and work towards a more just and equitable legal system that upholds the democratic values enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution.
On her part, human rights activist Aisha Yusufu called on the CJN to initiate public consultation and announce within 6 months of assumption of office measures designed to address the escalating patterns of alleged judicial corruption as documented by the UNODC MBS Corruption in Nigerian Report 2024.
A recent survey by the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, UNODC, and the National Bureau of Statistics, NBC, finds the judiciary as recipients of the highest per capita rates of bribery, ahead of officers of both the Nigerian police force and the Nigerian Customs Service.
Samuel Erugo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, wants the court to devise a means of removing itself from election cases so that leaders will be true to choices of their electorates and not the court. The 5-point agenda from this panel will address the following areas: judicial appointment, conflicting judgment, and abuse of interim injunctions, discipline and accountability, election petitions, and political cases, and reform of the Supreme Court. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
News. Motorists in the nation's capital still spend valuable time trying to purchase petrol. Helen Osamide-Akins, who visited some of the fuel stations in Abuja, has more in this report.
This is the situation at petrol stations in Abuja in the past month. Some stations around the city center remain locked as those selling the products dispense only from few pumps. Motorists with productive man-hour in the queue to get products. The queues get a bit shorter in some stations and longer in other stations. Motorists continue to complain about the effects of their well-being and livelihood.
Being on the queue more than 30 minutes now, and ordinarily a queue is not something we should spend more than 5 minutes on the queue. I had a lot of things I have to go and catch up with, but because of the fact that I'm wasting time here, it's affecting my productivity.
NNPC Limited had attributed the scarcity to logistic challenges, and this station manager also attributes it to bad road and the just concluded nationwide protests.
These 10 days protests that happen, most of the filling stations there are no supply at all, because every truck is afraid of coming on the way now. We don't know what might likely happen. I might be attacked or something else.
An interesting twist to the story of the scarcity at petrol station is that black marketers have enough supply of the product and sell to motorists at 1,000 to 1,200 naira per litre. Shuaibu Abubakar, a cobbler in Zamfara State, now resides in Abuja. He is making profit from this prevailing scarcity of petrol. He said that they are left with no option than to sell the product above pump price as they do not buy directly from the fuel stations.
We buy 10 liters for 7,500 naira in 4 stations and sell between 10 to 12,000 naira. We buy from Okada riders who also had their money. They also in turn give money to those fuel attendants who sell to them.
A visit to some of the stations in Abuja shows an increase in pump prices as against what was sold in the past weeks.
Although the situation is improving, but there is need for it to be better, such that motorists will not have to spend productive time on the queue to get the products. Helen Osamide-Kings. TVC News, Abuja.
Long fuel queues are beginning to spread across parts of Port Harcourt. And as the scarcity worsens in the southern river states, residents are complaining of the cost of the product. Correspondent Uche Okoro reports.
A long line of cars waiting to buy fuel at the NNPC mega station. The queue here is evident because it is the only outlet selling the product for 591 naira per litre. Considering the cost elsewhere, the hours of waiting here is worth it for these motorists, especially commercial drivers.
Their price is a little bit cheaper, or 5.9 where they sell. Now make what I feel like to come day, because if I no come day, if I drive, buy for other station drive, nothing they come out for me.
I'm running my own business like time services. If I want to buy per liter now, it's a 1,000 naira. Tell me how much if I want to buy 10 liters, it's almost 10,000. Tell me if I go out for the day, how much will I get? At least 10,000. How much will I use? 100 naira, or is it 200 or 150? That is very bad.
If you buy at the place where they say 800, 850, my brother, you buy fuel of 3,000 naira, you cannot run out 1,000 naira, you come back home, nothing, and fuel, and your car will just keep you on the road without having anything. You've not gotten the 3,000 naira you use in buying fuel.
The NNPCL says the scarcity is as a result of vessel delay. More so, Nigerians are wondering when the country would start to produce petrol from the 4 refineries to end the pain of petrol stations temporarily shutting down. While those in business are selling the old stock for an average of 900 naira per litre, the situation has further increased the financial burden on commuters.
All the way from Lagos bus stop, I've been trekking. They cannot consider me for 150 to St. Thomas Gate. I'm trekking to a place where they can understand with me for 150 because the transport is expensive. My vehicle is bad. I cannot walk it.
Those who cannot find a place to buy or endure the long wait at the NNPC station turn to roadside vendors. But even the black market operators in Port Harcourt are not smiling to the bank.
Right now, what in this station, I'm selling, they're selling me 890. Why me? I'm selling 900. And we are suffering because we cannot. Our children are suffering. There is no way we cannot eat.
There are fewer cars on the road these days, making it a more convenient period to drive for those who can brave the long queues or afford the high prices of fuel. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Let's look at other stories. The governor of Plateau State, Caleb